This should be very brief. So, regarding progress, I mentioned on, I believe it was Thursday, that I obtained all the AlphaFold models for each of the xenobiologic sequences that I had in this particular spreadsheet over here. So I had each of the particular clonotypes, their constant light, linker, variable heavy, constant heavy, and their full SC-Fab sequences. And I ran these individually through AlphaFold after obtaining the constant heavy one from the internet source and later corroborated by the staff member of Xenobiologics. And I ran them through AlphaFold and obtained such structures. And I'll just pull up an example. They all look pretty normal. I didn't look at their confidence values or anything, but I will incorporate that into my analysis. So this is one AlphaFold structure. The linker looks like it did in previous AlphaFold structures we had of the SC-Fabs. The CDRs are over here. So this is where the docking will be conducted in this area. And everything's one chain. It turned out fine. And it took about approximately one night to run the whole model, so it wasn't bad. I managed to submit all of the jobs simultaneously, and while checking the queue on HPCC, I saw that approximately 3 or 4 jobs were running at any given time, so it doesn't take much at all with AlphaFold. However, and I uploaded all of their structures and all of the documentation from AlphaFold in anti-GD2, the Xenobiologic MABs folder. There's a folder called AlphaFold Results in there. That was not the case with Rho-Beta. Rho-Beta took far longer to run. Of the structures that I submitted, I only obtained one structure back. And this is approximately, well, now this is more than a week after submitting it, but I only had one structure back a week after submitting it, and nothing's changed since. The results were pretty bad. They gave me 5 different outputs. In fact, as a matter of, I'll just go to this website. But you can click on the link and you can see the exact results I have. Confidence score is 0.74. I don't know exactly how to interpret that, but they gave me 5 different PDB structure outputs. This is one of them. These are the residues of an SC-Fab that are within 1 angstrom confidence. This isn't the actual prediction. The actual prediction, this is one of the actual predictions. I mean, it looks vaguely similar to the AlphaFold model, but there are significant differences. Obviously, the linker is, they actually attempted to fold the linker into a domain. And the CDR structure is different. I did superimpose them. They don't really look identical. So those are, if you click this link, you can see the one job that actually finished. There's 5 different outputs, and each of the outputs look very different. And I don't know. I don't really trust Rho-Beta, but I'm doing it just for completeness, and it might complete the analysis. However, Rho-Beta did provide this useful plot that showed the error estimate at each residue position. So this indicates for each of the 5 models there was a high amount of uncertainty in the 230th to about 270th residue, and again around the 390th. So this is noteworthy. This shows where the homology modeling software struggled, and I guess this is good for future reference. Maybe I can compare these with the confidence levels that AlphaFold puts out for each of the residues and see if there's overlap in the performance and in the variability at this particular position. On a very good note, I received the 9 NHAC-GD2 structure from Shufei, the one on the right here, the minimized structure obtained from his paper, in which he used gas phase MD with approximately like 10,000 outputs, and this is what I'll be using in the docking. Now I'm ready to conduct the docking with each of the 11 AlphaFold models I can begin conducting the docking, and I'll no longer have to worry about being accurate with the ChemDraw model that I created. So I have this. The next steps in docking, well, first I'm going to relax all the structures. There's also Rosetta minimize. I don't know. I might check and do that. It's prior. I don't know if it's really advised, however, for docking. I'm just going to read up on some of the documentation for Rosetta minimize, but I'll definitely use Rosetta relax, which is always recommended for structures that didn't come from Rosetta, were not produced by Rosetta. So it just accommodates the structure to Rosetta's energy field, so Rosetta knows how to handle it, really, in terms of its force field. Conformer generation then for this ligand structure. I'm still thinking about using BCL. Maybe there's better options for such molecules. This is a very complex molecule. It's not like the small molecules used in the COVID experiment, so maybe there are better things that have been released since when BCL came out. So I'll need to just do a quick review of the conformer generation literature, find out the best options for docking. Yeah, I already obtained it. This detail is no longer relevant. Figure out the ideal docking settings, if it can be fit within the glycan dock. If not, just standard docking should suffice for the time being. Either way, I'm going to start docking runs as soon as possible just to get docking outputs for reference. This might get convoluted, but I'm considering comparing docking settings too. So with glycan dock, without glycan dock, in addition to comparing the homology modeling software in the final analysis. So figuring out the optimal docking settings, and well, sampling will be constant. I think I'll still use Cas-P for the antibody paratope. Just I'll make sure that I'll sample the entire CDR region, the entire paratope. And yes, I will generate far more outputs for the docking to make it more precise, because there's only 12 structures. I have time to run them. These should not take so long because there's only one ligand. Yes, so other plans, MD, I'm very strongly considering incorporating it into the analysis. I haven't seen too much stuff on MD and antibodies, so hopefully this will be sort of a novel angle to it. I will be talking with Ben about this, and I'll also contact Michael Feig if needed to get access to the HPCC MD module. And yeah, then the comparison will be a part of this. Just sort of a broad overview of what can be done, what the differences are between different docking and MD and homology well, MD is going to be the same, but different homology modeling and docking approaches. So alpha for the homology modeling, obviously AlphaFold will be used. If rho beta actually produces results soon enough, sure. And IgFold is the other promising one, and then ITASR, if necessary. And then, yeah, so the comparison between these, quick overview of what they are, how they performed on this model, what sort of confidences they outputted, and how these homology models, these 4 different homology models, performed in the docking overall. And then using MD on somehow that will be applied to the comparison. So yeah, there's going to be some variability to actually include some form of discussion. But for the time being, I'm just going to conduct standard docking so we can get some docking results as quickly as possible. Because we want a starting point. We want to know where we are, and we want some estimate of the binding affinity. And this is the paper I've read. They used MD on antibodies. It's pretty old, but I haven't really found much else in this realm, and hopefully there's still some novelty to it. Alrighty, that is all.